Dearest gentle reader, part 2 is over. And I watched it on one fell swoop. I did it in like record time. I just couldn't resist it. It was just too much beauty to take in. I loved it. I loved part 1. I loved part 2. The only thing that I would say for part 2 is I could have done more of Colin and Penelope, but I said that in the start. I would just have it all for them. But also I think that they should have more episodes. I think 8 episodes are not enough, because it was in the middle of the last episode on season 8, no, episode 8, that I was like, how are they going to finish this off in 25 minutes? It was at the 25-minute mark. And I was like, they're going to speed this up. That's annoying. And I know the whistle down part took a lot up, but it still felt like it was sped up. So that was my only criticism, really. The rest of it I adored. I loved how they tied them back in. I loved that first scene in the mirror scene. Oh my gosh, it was deliciously beautiful, deliciously awkward, deliciously first time. And you could tell it was her first time. And you could tell that he knew it was her first time, and that he was that guy that had that experience. Thank God he did, so that they could just, oh my God, I just loved it. I thought it was so beautiful, that first one. It was so stunning. And when they told the story about them breaking the furniture and the when they did the run through and stuff in a take, I just loved that. And she posted a picture, Nicola did, on her Instagram of the broken chaise longue. That's what happens when you get taken away with what you're doing. I absolutely loved it. The turmoil between the Lady Whistledown storyline was strong. I felt stressed. I was annoyed throughout the whole thing. Like really stressed and annoyed. Like, oh my God. I loved when Colin, Luke Newton's acting, when he found out and he had the tear. Wowee. That was amazing. That was amazing. Wow. In the book, I felt less sorry for Cressida in the book. But in this, I felt really sorry for Cressida. And do you know, when the mother hid her sleeve because she had bruises, it just told me everything about the man that she was with, and the father to Cressida, and the life that they led, and why she went to these lengths. And I really felt sorry for her. In the book, I never felt sorry for her at all. So that's really good, I think, because it gives everybody an all-round character. Nobody's all bad and all good. We've all got a bit of bad and good in us, and Cressida had that. So I really felt for her. But I was glad she had her comeuppance. You can't do things like that and not have your comeuppance. You have to. Penelope did as well. So you have to. But I was just gutted for her. And I really hope that they can bring her back some season and maybe she's happy. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Maybe she meets Lord Deblin out in the countryside when they're admiring birds and they marry. That could be nice, eh? Although her aunt looks a bit strict and maybe won't let her out. I don't know. What else? Oh my God, what else? There's so much. So much. Eloise, I liked her this season. I really did. I thought it was a great turnaround, and she had a right to feel how she did, and she had a right to. Do you know what I loved was when you seen her go back to the old Whistledown papers, and she went, "That's clever," and I loved that, because I thought, yeah, that's her seeing Penelope. And like how Colin later says, and later on, that they're both the same person. And that was her vision of, yeah, they are both the same person. And I love both of them, which is kind of nice. I love that. So I'm happy with Eloise this season, and I'm glad that they all turned around, and now she needs to go find herself. And this was the catalyst. That's the whole reason for this whole season, I guess, and how Eloise, her character development, it needed to happen so that we can get to the later stages for when it's her turn. And I'm guessing that's where she'll start to write lots of letters when she's in Scotland, and she's got nothing much to do in Scotland in a castle. So yeah, letter writing's going to happen. If you haven't read the books, then you won't know what I'm talking about, but if you've read the books, you know exactly what I'm saying, and I'm excited for it. Who else? So Eloise. Benedict's storyline was a bit, I think in my last season, or my last, like I'm in Bridgerton, my last part 1 analysis, I was talking about Benedict, and how they had went away from the bisexuality and the exploration. Well, they went full in, didn't they? I don't know how I felt about it. I just don't know how I felt about it. And then I was thinking, is that my head no allowing me to think like that? Because I've got preconceived ideas and I need to open up my brain. Or I just didn't think it was a good fit for Benedict. I don't know, I'm happy. Like, I love for people to be explorative, especially if that's their thing. And I did, it's hard to talk about really, because in the first season I saw that, but I was hoping they wouldn't go down that line. I didn't think they were gonna, but I wouldn't have minded. But then when it was actually there and I seen it, I was like, how is this going to play out when he meets, spoiler, don't watch if you've not read the books, if he's going to meet Sophie, how's it going to work? But then I was like, that's my closed-mindedness coming out, so I need to let go of that. And that you can have a beautiful relationship, even though you're bisexual, you can still have a relationship with one person and be all in. So that's what I need to remember. And it's maybe not he is bisexual, but maybe he's not completely bisexual. Maybe he was just exploring and having a folly, you know, before he settles down. I don't know. That's a really tricky one to navigate. It just, when it was in my face, I didn't like it as much. So that was it. And I'd kind of hoped, I don't know what I'd hoped. Who knows? Going down the rabbit hole there. So yeah, I'm not sure about that storyline. Then the storyline for, oh my God, John and Francesca. Oh my gosh, that was lovely. I love the two of them together. But when I saw her kiss him at the wedding, it was like she was like, oh, like as if, oh, that feeling, watch it back. Like there's no zing. So then when they introduced Michaela, that's when I went, right, that's why there was no zing. Because she's no straight. She's completely gay. She ain't bisexual, she's gay. And she fancies the heck out of Michaela. So yeah, right. Spoiler again, if you've not read the books, don't listen anymore. So I've read the book, and the book was my favourite book of the whole Bridgerton season. I laughed, I cried, I had joy, I had shock, I had flutterings. Because I loved it. And so yeah, there was lots in it. And Michael was my favourite character of all time. And all I kept thinking was, when I see Michael, oh my God, I'm going to die. When I see Michael, I'm going to die. And then I heard rumours that Michael was going to become Michaela. And I was like, oh no. And I was devastated. I'm like grieving for Michael because I've just waited to see him and to love him. Well, so I was kind of moaning about it and being like, oh, this is ridiculous and it's going down this thing. Well, anyway, right? So then I see that kissy thing and I think, she's not feeling that. And then I see Michaela on screen. Now, I'm a straight woman, but whoa. I was like, wow, she is sparkling. And then she was like, I hope my rumours, because they're actually worse kind of thing. You know, like how Michael would have said it. Michael said that stuff. They always would bring Michael in to tell him wicked stories because he was completely wicked. And when she said that, I went, ooh, I like her. I like Michaela. And then I went, oh my God, I can fall for Michaela. I can like Michaela. So it didn't stress me so much. And I think that Francesca's absolutely gay. And of course, there's lots of gay people in back then, since the beginning of time. So it's a representation of a story. Now, they're not going to have the same book spoiler. They're not going to have the same infertility problems. And that may be issues with that, because I was, as a person who had infertility problems for many years, that was something I thought, well, that's going to be represented in the storyline. So I don't know how they're going to get around that. I'm wondering if she does have children with John, or that she can't have children with John, and then they decide to have no children. Because in the time, I don't think that two women could adopt children, so it's not like today. So I don't know how they'd get around that. So that's going to be interesting. Or maybe maybe Michaela has children from her previous, because she probably has to have married. Being a woman in that society, you probably have to marry. So maybe she's got children and they can tie that in with Francesca being a stepmother. I mean, it could be. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I was really intrigued. So yeah, I was against it completely. And then totally fell for Michaela. I love her. She's gorgeous. And I think she's perfect for Francesca. So yeah, I didn't mind it. But I'm sure I've seen so many people on the Bridgerton sites hating that. And I was with them, but Michaela won me over. So I don't know. I don't think she's won a lot of people over. But let's wait for her season. Let's wait for her season. Let's give her a chance. And see if she can bring the wickedness of Michael to Michaela. I don't know. Do you remember that programme, Gentleman Jack? And she was like a proper lesbian. I loved her. I loved Gentleman Jack. I thought it was brilliant. And I didn't feel any less romance and sexual passion for that season than I did for a heterosexual one. So I think it can work. But anyway, I digress. So then I loved Violet and her gardener. He's lovely, and I think that's going to be nice. I loved Anthony's protectiveness. That was so cute. I loved Anthony and Kate being pregnant, but now they're going off to India. But then, and they're going to have the baby in India, so that's 9 months. So I'm guessing we're not seeing them in season 4. I think that's what they're telling us. If we do, it'll be for a small amount like this. And I hope they don't do that for Colin and Penn, because we need them to back in season 4. I'd be gutted to lose them. So yeah, Lady Danbury and her brother, loved that, and loved him bringing out Lady Danbury's spirit and who she was as a younger person. Loved that, because she was fiery, as we know from Queen Charlotte. So she was her own woman, boy, I tell you. So yeah, I loved that part. And so back to Colin and Penn, which was just all the angst and the devastation. And I loved how they brought in the books, that they're both writers. That's why they love each other. That's why they're brought to each other. They're both creative. And that he has his own book now after writing from his journals, which is so, so cute. And I loved that Penn wanted to keep the saucy bits in. Girl after my own heart. I loved that. But he said no, and they're just going to do that privately. But I love that too. That's just great. I hated that they were upset with each other and that he had to sleep on the couch and stuff like that. I just hated their parts. But they have to do it because he had to be angry for Penelope for what she had said about the family and stuff. There had to be repercussions for Penelope, just in a moral standpoint. So we had to have that. But I hated it. I wish they had more time on screen loving each other. Even though they did, I just wanted more. I'm just really greedy. Do you know what I mean? Really greedy. I loved Penelope throughout the whole thing. I loved her in her wedding dress. Oh my God, she was gorgeous. Oh, how saucy. Oh my God, I loved this scene when she was coming out of the modiste and he's going off to wherever. And she comments to him and says, and where do you think you're going? Type thing. I loved that. And then he's like, well, you can't question me. Oh my God. And then they just get into it. You can tell the passion. They were like, in the doorway. Oh my Lord. And I think he went up, did questionable things, which was just, oh my God, I loved that part. It was so sexy, so good. And you could see they couldn't take their hands off each other, and it was cute. I also loved how they brought in that he was jealous, mega jealous. And that's the biggest part of why he couldn't forgive Penn for so long, was the jealousy, because he himself wanted that power. He himself would have loved to have that writing out in the world, and he didn't have it at that point. So I loved how they brought that in, and it was his insecurities, and I just loved that. And then at the end, when we have the baby boy and it was born to Colin and Penn, now that's a big massive change to the book, because their first baby is Agatha, which is a girl, but it's not, it's a boy, and the two girls have the two girls, the sisters. So I was really surprised at that they changed it, but I like that. I think that's a good change. And that he's like his dad. Oh, so cute. And then the last part when, Lady Whistledown and said goodbye. That part before we went into like a year later. I was like, oh, emotional. Oh God, I was crying so bad. I just, and then when it changed into her voice from Julie Andrews and she said, from our love, whatever it was, I'm too crazy. Penelope Bridgerton. Oh my god, I've watched it like 3 times, that last part, and just seeing her with the babies and stuff. It was so, so beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love it. So for season 4, I am taking a stab at it is Benedict's season, because we hear Eloise saying to Benedict, we'll see you next year, because you think my mum's going to miss the masquerade ball. Sophie's coming in, but I'm guessing we're going to have a mix of storylines like we had. So we'll have the full one, which is Benedict's, but then we'll have all the little bitty stories. And the little bitty stories might be getting to know Michaela. It might be getting to know Eloise and her writing and who she's writing to. And then we'll head off into Eloise's story, I'm guessing, from that point. So for season 5. But I'm guessing it's Benedict's for season 4. I don't know how they're going to play it. I don't know if there's going to be more exploration for Benedict, or he's just going to go all in and fall in love with Sophie. So I'm really intrigued to see what's going to happen. And I love Benedict's story. I thought it was one of my favourite books. To be fair, I loved every single book that Julia Quinn wrote. I love every single one. I can't wait to read them all, to watch them all. See, I'm all over the shop. I can't put a coherent sentence together because I just loved it, but I'm also devastated that it's over. As for 2-parters, didn't like it. I don't think it's good coming out as 2-parters. Don't think it's good. It took away the flow for me, and I wish that I could have watched it all together and let it flow more coherently. Because there was that month in between, it was like a block between it, and it feels like one part's just a part and then the other's a part, rather than a coherent 2-parter. So I hope they don't do that again. But saying that, this is the first time I've watched it. I've only watched one episode once. I will watch it from the start all together, and then I'll maybe do a video where I give my thoughts on that, because you change, my thoughts change all the time. And I'll be feeling like this now, but in like, after I watch it maybe 3 or 4 times, I'll feel another way. So yeah, that's my thoughts on everything. I've probably missed loads, I've probably missed tons out that I wished I could put in, but it's just thinking about it because I'm so emotional. I'm gutted it's over. I heard that there's 2 years between the seasons, which is devastating, because I can't wait till 2026. It's just not right. I hope it's next year. So keep your fingers and toes crossed this next year. Anyway, so dearest gentle watcher, thanks for watching this and sharing in the joy with me. It's been brilliant. Bridgerton has been brilliant. Season 1, 2 and 3, epic, all of them. And they're all a part of my life, and I love them all deliriously. So yeah, thanks so much for joining me on this video. Please put down all your thoughts in the comments below. Please be kind when it comes to things like Michael, because I've seen so much bad stuff written that, yeah, just be kind, especially if someone's got a different opinion in the comments to you. And what was the other one that was, and the Benedict storyline. So yeah, that's all I have today. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you on another Bridgerton in maybe 2 years' time. But we'll keep our fingers crossed for next year. Let's hope. All right, catch you later. Bye, everyone.